tense. Meg officially barred from coronation as exposing the palace talks behind closed doors. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are being put on blast for allegedly exposing the royal family's talks behind closed doors. Royal expert and commentator Jonathan Sackerdotti issued these allegations in an interview with Express UK. He started off by admitting, "I think the point is that private conversations have been reported by Meghan and Harry several times in ways that have been really unfavourable to the royal family. And I think that they therefore wonder what they can say even in private to Meghan and Harry, and that's very sad on a personal level. So if there was a rift that a father and son would want to heal, I think it's sad that they can't do that because there is a concern about what will be reported outside." For example, after the Oprah interview, Gayle King said it wasn't about the Queen, the racist comment allegation. And then there was similarly a report that the brothers had spoken but that at the moment, progress wasn't being made. Those sorts of reports of what must be very private moments make it very difficult for them to have private conversations and resolve their differences, because in sort of intra-family negotiations, it just can't work if bits are reported to the press by one side or the other. And I think that the royal family's been through that before. We saw that with the Charles and Diana situation, that there were allegations on both sides, that the other side was leaking things to the press, in order to sort of play it out in public. In other news, Buckingham Palace has responded to reports that the date has been set for King Charles's coronation. Bloomberg cited government officials as saying the ceremony at Westminster Abbey would take place on June 3 next year. The date would mark 70 years and 1 day on from the late Queen's coronation on June 2, 1953. However, a palace spokesperson said reports on a date are purely speculation. Charles's coronation had been expected to take place in the spring or summer of 2023. There have been reports that the ceremony could be scaled down due to the cost of living crisis. A source told the Mirror last month, "The King is very aware of the struggles felt by modern Britons, so we'll see his wishes carried through, that although his coronation ceremony should stay right and true to the long-held traditions of the past, it should also be representative of a monarchy in a modern world." Speaking in September, Culture Secretary Michelle Donnellan said that no plans had yet been made when pressed on whether proceedings should be cut back. She told LBC, "We need to look at the plans on this, and obviously the palace and the king will have a great deal of input into this. We only just finished our period of national mourning, so we haven't done that yet, as you would expect. And of course, we will be considering everything, but we haven't made these decisions yet. We do want to give the nation a moment. When we look back at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth, it was a remarkable event where the country really came together. If you look back at the Jubilee, how much we did for that and how the country came together. And it can in many ways boost the economy as well. Rallying a community, bringing them together, is never a bad thing." Royal historian Hugo Vickers previously suggested June 2 could be a poignant date for Charles's coronation. He told Good Morning Britain, "I have a feeling it's more likely to be in the summer, because people will camp out on the streets and you need it to be warm, so it could be sometime after Easter. But wouldn't it be lovely if it was on June 2, which would be the 70th anniversary of the Queen's coronation? Wouldn't that be an appropriate date?" The throne immediately passed to Charles following the late Queen's death on September 8. The new king, supported by Queen consort Camilla, had a packed schedule ahead of the state funeral on September 19, including a tour of the 4 nations of the UK. Following the funeral, Charles spent the remaining period of royal mourning at his Birkhall residence on the Balmoral estate. On Monday he formally conferred city status on Dunfermline in Fife in his first engagement since royal mourning ended. The king said conferring city status on the former town, which was one of 8 communities awarded the honour as part of the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations, would gladden my dear mother's heart. Meanwhile, a family portrait of Charles, Camilla, Prince William and Kate was released last Saturday. The image of King Charles III and his Queen consort, standing alongside the Prince and Princess of Wales, was taken at Buckingham Palace on September 18, 10 days after Queen Elizabeth II's death. After Queen Elizabeth